free, of course.
Small business owners and independent contractors get affordable insurance with Sagicor Pro Shield. The time by Sagicor Life is
7 o'clock.
CVM News at 7 headlines Tuesday, courtesy of Heart NSTA Trust, Jamaica's Human Development Agency.
Tonight in CVM News at 7, preparations in high gear as Tropical Storm Melissa nears Jamaica. Distressing for democracy, opposition walks out of Gordon House as tempers flare during Tuesday's sitting. And another fish kill in the Kingston Harbor raises fresh concerns. We'll also have our business feature, Small Biz, Big Dreams. And later in sports, Windies defeat Bangladesh in nail-biting to level ODI series.
CVM News at 7 headlines Tuesday, courtesy of Heart NSTA Trust, Jamaica's Human Development Agency.
When the bus the man, I want to watch my son play finals on CVM, you know.
But mums, you can't watch it on CVM website, man.
Score! My son score! My son score! My son score! My son score!
Greatness begins here.
Mammogram can shape your motherhood. The Jamaica Cancer Society, helping women now. Visit the website at jcs.live.
Early detection saves lives. CVM News at 7 Tuesday, brought to you by
the KFC Doritos Zinger, a crunch that's finger-licking good.
From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at 7. It's Tuesday, October 21, 2025. I'm Nika Lewis. Thank you so much for joining us. Tropical Storm Melissa, which became the 13th named storm this hurricane season, is now south of Hispaniola and is expected to bring severe weather to Jamaica by Wednesday. The Met Office in its latest bulletin says a tropical storm watch remains in effect for the island. This means tropical storm conditions pose a possible threat to Jamaica within 48 hours. At 4 p.m., the center of Tropical Storm Melissa was located about 495 kilometers or 305 miles south of Port-au-Prince, Haiti, or about 535 kilometers or 330 miles southeast of Morant Point, Jamaica. Tropical Storm Melissa is moving west near 15 miles per hour. However, a decrease in forward speed and a gradual turn to the northwest and then north is expected during the next few days. Maximum sustained winds are near 85 kilometers per hour, with higher gusts and gradual strengthening expected over the next few days. Melissa is projected to move near southeastern Jamaica later this week. Joining us to break it all down is meteorologist Javoy Sawyers. Hi, Javoy.
Good evening.
Good evening. Well, the United States-based Weather Channel says that the system is likely to become a hurricane soon. How likely is it that Tropical Storm Melissa will gain hurricane strength by the time it reaches Jamaica?
It's very likely. It should, or it may gain strength, hurricane strength around Friday evening into Saturday, when it's just to the southeast of Morant Point. And lingering, it is expected to stall somewhat and meander within the region between us and Hispaniola throughout the weekend into early next week.
85 kilometers per hour and gaining strength, but just how dangerous is this system as is?
It's a growing tropical storm. It's also a wide wind field associated with the storm. I'm expecting that to gradually increase in size as the system lingers. It's the waters around the island is very warm at this time, and it will provide a lot of fuel for the storm even as the storm slows down, it has more time to gather strength and gather fuel from the warm water and dump continuous amount of rainfall across the island. So though the impacts may not be much from the wind, we're hoping most definitely will be a high rainfall event.
And yet our news center spoke with fishermen out by Port Royal who were still heading out to sea up to this afternoon. Is that advisable?
I would say no, because the system is across the waters to the south of the island. And even though the central system is still some ways south of the island, it propagates waves across the region up to our area. So the waters south of the island particularly are very rough and will increasingly become so as the days progress.
Based on the projected movement, though, are there specific parishes that need to be on high alert?
Well, as the system makes its approach to the southeast of the island and meanders and stalls, first and foremost, northeastern parishes will be getting most of the rainfall as that counterclockwise flow bring winds across Port Antonio up the Blue Mountain. I'm expecting some relief rainfall from that St. Mary, Port Antonio. And as the system meanders to the south, according to the projected forecast path, the area of rainfall will then spread across the island. And as it moves into next week, when the system is expected to move either across the island or to the waters east or west, like you're seeing the spread in the forecast is so wide at this time, and the uncertainty of where the system will exactly go. We just have to pay keen attention and make all the necessary precautions.
Any other updates or anything else you'd like to share with us before you go?
Just key to note that this particular system, the forecast track is somewhat different from what you may be used to, because the system is expected to stall and linger. The forecast cone is not really a cone per se. It's now a large swath or a circle. It just goes to show that within that circle, the central system can be anywhere from east across Hispaniola to as far west and south, so to the island. So we're still uncertain where the system will go exactly. So it is important and pertinent that we pay key attention and take all precautions.
All right, thank you so much, meteorologist Javoy Sawyers, giving us an update there. Meanwhile, opposition members walked out of Parliament today following testy exchanges and the perceived blocking of pertinent questions around Jamaica's hurricane readiness amid Tropical Storm Melissa. The incident unfolded during the question and answer segment following the climate minister's address, updating the nation on the agency's preparation ahead of the development.
Tropical Storm Melissa is mere hours away from the island, dispatching already torrents of rainfall in sections of the island. Climate Change and Environment Minister Matthew Samuda updated the Parliament on the state of readiness and protocols. He notes the storm is just off the coast of Hispaniola and is on a path towards the island, as he urges Jamaicans to pray and prepare.
Now that the area of low pressure has strengthened to a tropical storm, the system has slowed significantly and further decreased in the forward speed, and further decreases in the forward speed is indeed projected. Hence, the system is likely to linger in the Caribbean waters for the next few days and take a little while longer to reach our shores. We are now expecting to start experiencing heavy rains sometime tomorrow night at current projections. But to note that the situation is indeed fluid, and the Hurricane Center and our own Met Service is indeed monitoring closely. Now that the area of current projections show that it could intensify to a Category 1 hurricane by latest Saturday, fueled by unusually warm waters of the Caribbean at this time of the year. I must emphasize that the increased heat is no doubt in our mind related to broad-based global climate change.
The minister says emergency teams are on full alert and reminds over 880 shelters are available for use if needed. He impresses on locals in flood-prone areas to be on high alert.
Meteorological models suggest that Jamaica could experience heavy rainfall, gusty winds and possible flash flooding, especially in the east as the storm tracks northward later this week. We are particularly mindful of the potential for landslides in our mountainous parishes, especially in areas where soil saturation is already high, as we would have seen the October rains on in earnest even this afternoon. Madam Speaker, while the center of Melissa's projected path currently points towards Hispaniola, the storm's proximity to Jamaica demands our highest level of vigilance. As we have learned through experience, tropical systems of this nature can shift course with little warning, and even indirect impacts can bring significant disruption to lives, livelihoods, and property.
Well, things came to a head during the question and answer session when several attempts to interrogate payment of contractors by Southeast St. Mary Member of Parliament newcomer Christopher Brown were blocked and steered towards the minister's statement as per the standing orders. This didn't sit well with the opposition members, who soon grew visibly upset, despite several efforts to continue the line of questioning deemed unrelated to the minister's statement and the core responsibilities. The opposition leader demanded an answer from the speaker before staging a walkout.
We are attempting to ask questions arising from the statement. The statement was a wide-ranging statement. It not only touched and concerned the specific minister's portfolio, he also said he was speaking on behalf of the Minister of Local Government, who is overseas, who has direct responsibility for disaster preparedness. On more than one occasion, the member on this side who was sought to ask a question has been prevented from completing the question, and instead a point of order has been taken, which I don't know what the ruling was, or you yourself have intervened to prevent the statement, the question from being asked. Yes. I want to know what the question was that the member for Southeast St. Mary was seeking to ask. I don't know what his question is.
Distressing for democracy. That's how opposition leader Mark Golding is describing what he says is the heavy-handed and unfair conduct of parliamentary proceedings. He was speaking at a hastily called press conference in the opposition members' chambers at Gordon House, moments after the opposition walked out of Parliament. Now, Mr. Golding criticized two-time House Speaker Juliet Holness for what he says is an abuse of power.
So what we're seeing is a practice, a pattern, whereby there's a crisis looming affecting the nation. A representative of the government comes to the Parliament to state their position on the matter, to apprise the public, but the opposition is being prevented deliberately from asking pertinent questions relating to what the minister has said in his statement. This is a thwarting of the democracy. It makes a mockery of the Parliament, and it's an abuse of the powers of the Speaker. Clearly, the Speaker has no intention of allowing the opposition to pose questions and to play our constitutional role of holding the government accountable for their performance. This is unacceptable to us, and we had to absent ourselves from the rest of the proceedings. And we will, of course, going forward, have to adopt different approaches to respond to this, because the people of Jamaica have elected us to represent them and defend their interests. And we cannot let this Speaker manage the affairs of the House in a way that prevents us from doing our duty.
Stay with us, because CVM News at 7 continues when we return.
Hi, I know you weren't expecting to see me here. Now you can find your favorite chicken and snacks in the same place. It's true. Come on in.
Introducing the delicious combination of KFC fried chicken and Doritos nacho cheese. The KFC Doritos Zinger, a crunch that's finger-licking good.
It's time!
Welcome to High School Pitchside. We have another fascinating episode for you.
More matches, more big clashes.
Let's talk about some of the big rivalries coming up this week.
More of your favorite features.
And trust me, you won't fall asleep in this history class.
And of course, we always want to hear from you.
Hear from your alma mater's players and coaches in Team Talk.
You know we can't leave you out. So send us your messages on social media and watch us react on FanView.
And you know we love a good little debate, right, Gio? We've got you covered all season long on High School Pitchside.
High School Pitchside, your ultimate guide to all things schoolboy football, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
Thanks so much for staying with us. Mayor of Kingston, Andrew Swaby, says drain cleaning exercises have been ongoing in the capital. He says the KCMC will be advised by the Met Office and the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, on how to move forward. The mayor is asking those who live in areas prone to flooding to exercise caution or, if necessary, to evacuate to another location or to the nearest shelter.
We always started with the drains on the coastal side of the city, and that has been successful. While government, and when I say government, I'm also speaking of local authority, has certain responsibility, and their main responsibility right now is to disseminate the information. We all have a personal responsibility. We know where we live. We know what happens in the past, and we should try our best to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Over in Manchester, the municipal corporation is urging residents to immediately finalize their preparations as Tropical Storm Melissa approaches. Mayor of Mandeville, Donovan Mitchell, says there are high-risk areas of particular concern.
There are some areas to which we want to warn the persons there, especially in the Alligator Pond area. Porous in itself, where it's a low-lying area, water will affect them, but more so in the Christiana area where we generally have some mudslides.
The mayor went further. Well, the recent drain cleaning they have started in collaboration with the National Works Agency, he says, would or should be able to help with possible flash floods.
The amount of water we get in some areas will become inundated, and so we're asking persons who travel, especially along Caledona Road in the vicinity of the Mandeville Hospital, that pond tends to be filled or overflow its bank from time to time. At the Bel-Air High School area, we generally have some water there. We're in the DC area here, so we're going to ask persons to proceed with caution and knowing that at any time we can have some flash flooding.
There's been another fish kill, and this time in the Kingston Harbor. The incident has reignited concerns about the state of Jamaica's marine environment. Details from Amoy Harriet.
Along the Palisado Strip in the Kingston Harbor on Monday, dozens of small fish floating near the shoreline. Eyewitnesses who were in the area told CVM News they noticed what appeared to be oil in the water where the fish were found. The National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, and the National Fisheries Authority say they're investigating what happened, but denies claims that there was oil in the water. Leonard Francis is CEO of NEPA.
It had to do with some form of eutrophication, where you actually have materials actually going into the water, being from when you have the rainfall, that atmospheric event, and it could actually be also another causes where some persons told us that there's also a possibility that persons introduce things into the water.
Now, this isn't the first fish kill in the Kingston Harbor, and this is certainly not the first incident in Jamaica in recent months. In December 2023, over 1,000 fish were found floating in the Harborview section of the Kingston Harbor, a kill that many fishers and residents described as the scariest they'd ever seen.
The majority of incidents that happened in that area does not have anything to do with pollution in the sense that you have an event and the fish are dying. it more has to do with poor circulation within the area and has to do more with the impacts being localized within that area. But we are leaving no stones unturned. The data on the harbor shows you're not having a circulation of water in that area. So you're going to find that without the normal ebb and flow, there you have concentration in that area itself. And as you would have known, there have been red tide blooms there and other impacts. So we need to find a way where the water in that area can circulate much more freely.
He insists NEPA is exploring measures to ensure there isn't a recurrence.
We want to put some online monitors in the water. We want to put some cameras as well pointed into the sea. And we are now trying to get a database of persons that use the area regularly so that we can enlist them as well to help us. Because you know a lot of fishing enthusiasts there, persons who are exercising, persons that use the area very frequently. And we believe that they can help us well.
Members of the public in the meantime are being urged not to fish, collect or consume fish or other marine life from the affected area until further notice. Amoy Harriet reporting for CVM News.
Residents and fishermen in Port Royal say Tropical Storm Melissa won't easily chase them from the sea. For some, the approaching system means working faster, not staying home. Our news team visited the historic town where tradition and determination meet even the roughest tides. Here's Andre Jebinson with that story.
This captain was in his usual last-minute scramble before heading out to sea. Tropical Storm Melissa hovered at the back of his mind, but what mattered most were the two names painted on his boat, Ajani and Zariel, his children. That's why he was going to glean what he could from the sea before the weather turned. Not on a fool's errand, though. He had a plan.
I want to do a 2-hour run, and if I reach out there maybe 7, 8 o'clock, I can do a 2-hour work and be satisfied with.
But is it safe though? Because even though it's 48 hours, sometimes it starts a little early.
So far, the weather's not choppy, it's smooth. You understand? But in the break of a storm, it can pick up wind. And more likely, sometimes I can see the danger. Seeing the danger is the atmosphere show. Lightning, the thunder, whatever. I can kind of observe and know.
And then what? You come back in earlier?
Yes, I just move. I urgently move.
He'll be joined by crewmate Jeffrey Lindo, and together they'd make a quick run before the winds began their sermon.
Distance we're going now, it's going to take us 4 hours to travel. Distance to go. And it's going to take us the next 4 hours to come back. So when we reach within that 4 hours, we'll be doing our timing at how many hours we can allow to fish within that timing before. We have 4 hours to travel.
So how long you typically stay out there?
All night, if the weather is good. Yeah, all night. Probably 2 nights too.
Captain tightened his final bolts before the small crew of 3 ventured. Off they went, almost in the same direction of the storm. The eastern and southeastern coasts of the island are well-worn paths tempests take before drenching the island. These ladies aren't clutching their pearls or stacking sandbags.
Only thing we can do about it is pray. We can't stop nothing. You know, see, water take over the place when not even see then water take it over.
No, but what you mean by you can't do anything but pray? How about preparing your house?
All right, listen, we're never run go to town. I want to take a stack town and wash it the same way.
What have to be, you know. If you run from here, so, and go to St. Elizabeth, if you feel dead by the storm, you still go dead. And a lot of time people always talk about Port Royal and this and that, and other places get knocked on Port Royal is still here.
The old town has danced with too many tempests to flinch at a little thunder.
Look how much boat there. When I go on a boat, are you going to the mangroves in the boat them? When rain come heavy, you just go in the mangroves. Them carry the boat them in the mangroves, so you just go in the mangroves and just stay in it.
And that's safe?
Of course it's safe.
Really?
Yeah, man, it's safe. It's up over the years.
Young one, so I have local food. And I have something I can get light. And I alright. If I go for 72 at the end of the year. I don't think him finished with me yet.
By early afternoon Tuesday, the skies had begun their slow pour. Soft at first, then steady, like a warning whispered. The shelter's not their vibe, even if they appear at any time to be necessary.
That's out of it.
Why?
That's not my style.
One time ago, they want to go back.
Why not?
No, man, this situation never nice at all.
Brenton Cunningham, another fisherman, isn't going out at this time. He's not critical of those who do. He just prefers to wait this one out, giving Melissa time to pass.
Weather is not good for fishing right now, so actually see a system coming down, so I have to just excursion because, you know, they don't know what can go around, so stay on the safe side.
So for the residents and the fisher folk of Port Royal, it comes down to a few things. First of all, their livelihood. They believe that they have to go to sea to get their fish to come back so they can actually sell it, so they can pay their bills. Then they think about the physical safety of their properties. If they leave, who will look after their property? And then they also think about the alternatives that are being offered by the government, and they're saying it's just not for them. And so they have decided to stay each and every time a system comes this way. Reporting from Port Royal, I'm Andre Jebinson for CVM News.
The Transport Authority today carried out operations in sections of Portmore St. Catherine targeting illegal public passenger vehicles as part of its Ride Safe campaign. The authority also conducted similar exercises in 3 miles and along Marcus Garvey Drive in Kingston. As Carla Ramdeen reports, the authority says the initiative is part of the efforts to restore order in the public transportation system.
Transport Authority officers removing license plates from vehicles that fail to meet public transport safety and compliance standards. Managing Director of the Transport Authority, Ralston Smith, says the authority is cracking down on drivers whose vehicles are not compliant.
Well, let us be clear. I think the public is crying out for some semblance of order and decency in the space. It is intolerable, the kind of loud and lewd music being played on public passenger vehicles, and the public demands a better service from the operators. And so we are here this morning just to ensure, and for a week long and beyond, if necessary, just to ensure that the decency with which public passengers must be transported return to the public passenger transportation system.
Mr. Smith adds that the authority plans to move the operations across the country to improve safety and accountability in all public transportation services. Office coordinator for the Linstead Satellite Office, Yannick Walcott, says the authorities are paying special attention to JUTC sub-franchise buses operating outside the law. She notes that some of these vehicles have been found with illegal tints and loud music systems.
You would have seen some videos making some rounds on the social media websites of these operators and how they operate lawlessly, driving with body protruding, the heavy tint preventing the inward view of the vehicles, the school children carrying on as if they're in a party. So today we're basically here trying to clamp down on that.
Ms. Walcott adds that enforcement officers are issuing summons, while examiners from the Island Traffic Authority remove license plates from defective vehicles to ensure they're taken off the road.
And today we're asking the drivers to remove the enhanced musical equipment that they have installed into these PPVs.
Carla Ramdeen, CVM News.
CVM News at 7 continues in a moment.
Negril, the Government Services Mobile Fair is rolling into your community on Friday, October 31. Come to the Negril Beach Park, Norman Manley Boulevard for passport renewal, legal aid assistance, apply for birth certificates, road licenses, path benefits, new business registration, property tax, and NWC services. Get information on the National Housing Trust, plus free health checks and much more. Come out and celebrate the Government of Jamaica Service Excellence Month as we bring government services to your doorstep.
Where it all begins. The quest to become great. Inspired by those who went before them, these 4 boys dream of playing in the ISA Schoolboy football competitions.
Will he score this for Casey? Will he score? It's a shot, it's a goal!
And it's a shot, and it's a goal! And Casey has won the Manning Cup, and they will play Clarendon College in the Olivia Shield.
KFC Dorito Singer, a combo that's finger-licking good. The time by KFC is
7:30.
This week in Tech Pulse, AI isn't just transforming banking, it's rewriting the rules, from predictive cybersecurity saving banks billions to hyper-personalized investment strategies. Artificial intelligence is now the brain behind the vault. Welcome to Tech Pulse.
This week in Tech Pulse, we dig a little deeper and find that AI is revolutionizing cybersecurity by shifting from reactive defense to predictive protection. Financial institutions are using AI to detect threats before they strike, reducing fraud and data breaches. And though you might say, but how then are so many breaches taking place? Hacking is a 24-hour job for some, and not everyone has quite warmed up to the power of AI and cybersecurity just yet. So here's what AI is doing in the banking arena these days.
Step into the future with generative AI in banking. 1. Personalized banking experiences. Think chatbots predicting your next purchase. 2. Fraud detection. Imagine AI spotting irregularities before you do. 3. Credit scoring. AI assessing your financial habits. 4. Algorithmic trading. AI making stock market predictions. 5. Risk management. AI analyzing market trends. 6. Customer service. AI solving your queries instantly. Revolutionize your banking with generative AI.
Only last week, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness encouraged Jamaicans to learn more about technology. Here's what banks in India are doing with AI.
Artificial intelligence or machine learning or LLM modules that we talk about, these are very, very important part of the entire customer engagement that we do now. We just transformed the entire customer service in the bank in the last 18 months, where when a customer calls us on our call center or writes on a social media platform, today we have a way to recognize this customer on a real-time basis. We ensure around 64-65% of these queries or these interactions are done by bots on a real-time basis. So there is absolutely no human intervention at all. We have got some fantastic voice IVRs, we have got voice bots that are working. India being a very diverse country, we have got various languages. So we do customer service digitally in 13 plus regional languages now. So that just really transformed the whole the way this works. We have got something called Bhashini. Bhashini is a bot which has been made in India. It has 300 plus dialects in India. So now we have to just plug and play there. We just connect with Bhashini and you can just train the bot in a Ziffy, right? So what was looking impossible today, you can train a bot in like 2 weeks, and the third week it comes up with a new language.
Of course, we have some reviews to these banking shifts.
I remember when being a little boy, when the ATM came out, right? That's how old I am. And the older folks were talking about how it was going to replace the bank teller. Well, what it did was it made the bank teller more efficient because they didn't have to handle every little small cash transaction. But this time around, I could see how you could fear AI. AI approves loans in like 2 minutes. That's according to Upstart and Square Loans. Like, loan officers are gonna be gone. 200,000 plus banking jobs are gonna be gone by 2030, and that's according to McKinsey.
Some sources say AI-driven fraud detection could save banks $10 billion annually, thanks to real-time anomaly detection and behavioral analysis. Others suggest that with cyber attacks on financial institutions up by 238% since 2020, AI is now a necessity, no longer a luxury. So can tech oversee tech better than humans? Those in support note that AI can process vast data sets, detect micro patterns, and operate 24/7 without fatigue. In cybersecurity, this means faster threat detection and fewer false positives. They also reason that in complex systems like algorithmic trading or fraud detection, AI can outperform human analysts in speed and scale. Yet, those making the case for human oversight point to Stanford's medicine research, where experts warn of the black box problem. AI decisions can be opaque, making accountability and trust difficult. They also argue human oversight is essential for ethical judgment, legal compliance, and catching edge cases AI might miss. So there's more to uncover, but that's it for Tech Pulse this week. Remember, the future is now.
Now to international news. In Madagascar, a severe education crisis is trapped in a cycle of deep poverty. UN data shows over 1 million children are out of school, with only a third completing high school. The national university enrollment rate is just 6%. Schools are chronically overcrowded and under-resourced, with nearly all 10-year-olds unable to read a simple text. Details from Al Jazeera.
The enrollment rate is about 6%. Most families can't afford the cost of tuition, transport and living expenses.
Poverty and child labour contribute to children being unable to get a basic education in one of the world's poorest countries. More than 1 million children who should be in school are not. That includes Hanita Raswanirina's 5 children. Her eldest is 14 years old. None attend school.
I lost my parents young and dropped out of school. Now my kids cannot go to school either. They're facing the same struggle.
Even for those who do go to school, the UN says nearly all 10-year-olds struggle to read and understand a simple text. Public schools are overcrowded, teachers are underpaid, and facilities are crumbling.
Infrastructure is lacking, as well as school supplies. Even the quality of education remains a challenge here in Madagascar. Many people are leaving the country for a better future abroad. If we want to develop, we should invest in education here.
The government's working with the World Bank to transform learning in Madagascar. It wants more children to finish school, but it's still short of 2 million desks. For many young people here, education's become another broken promise. In recent weeks, a lack of opportunity fueled many of the anti-government protests that were led by the young, known as Gen Z. That ultimately led to a military coup and the removal of President Andry Joel. The reality for many, though, is a cycle of poverty, lack of education and political instability, which is likely to have an impact on generations to come.
Up next, sports with Jordan Ford.
Everybody needs a helping hand, somebody to understand. In the end, we're all human. For people living with HIV, no discrimination. Here to support them through. Respect you as usual. Got to protect them too. When you're afraid of your family, somebody in your community. People living with HIV. Protect, accept and respect people living with HIV. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Hey everybody, I'm Yendi, and this is Odyssey with Yendi. In this space, we connect with some of your favorite people as they share their journeys. Here we have some unfiltered conversations as we deep dive into their inspirations, motivations, and experiences to inspire our own life journey.